Yes. Hello, everyone. And I would like to thank first to the organizing committee and of this symposium. This is Diba Aytem Yılmaz. I am from Istanbul, Turkiye. I've been graduated from Past Life Regression Academy in the UK. And I have foundation level of hypnosis certificate. And also I've been trained and got a certificate in life between life regression therapy, and I'm an approved trainer by PLRI and also regression therapist and trainer. I am a member of certified member of Earth Association and also an IBRT level 3 certified regression therapist. I'm an international trainer, but mostly I train Turkish people in Turkey since 2006. My trainer, Andy Tomlinson, and just supported me to encourage me to start to give regression therapy training in Turkey. So still, since 2006, I give regression therapy training in Turkey. I'm the founder of Radianced School. I also served as Earth board member for 6 years, and I'm still a chair of Earth College Committee. My publications, I have 2 books about regression therapy. The second one is published in 2022 in Turkish. It's not in English yet, but it will be in English also. This lecture is prepared by myself, and all the content are copyrighted. This is an advanced level training in Radianced School, in my school. And several years ago, I gave a workshop about this topic during Earth Convention. And this is a part of my regression therapy training program in the foundational level. Nearly every year I give webinars and workshops for Earth Convention and congresses, and also for the graduates of Past Life Regression Academy. I would like to, if it's okay, I would like to start my lecture, and I will give you some time to ask questions to me if you have related with this topic. So if it's okay, I will start talking about my subject. Okay, thank you. So if everyone can follow me, okay. So the subject of my lecture is to become free from victim mentality. Victim syndrome, in its most general definition, is a state of mind feeling poor, helpless, and victimized. This is a perception and a conclusion that the person is a victim and others as perpetrators. Mostly after a traumatic event, people feel victim and weak and powerless. But in this lecture, I'm going to talk about general victimology, victim syndrome. People who has victim mentality, according to my observation, this mood can be seen mostly in females. But this mentality affects everyone from time to time. People who feel themselves as victims find someone to blame and make one person the scapegoat whenever experiencing a bad thing. So this is a very simple way of saying this, but I'm going to explain more. In regression sessions with my clients and students since 2005, I realized that victim mood mentality is very common, nearly in all sessions. And time to time, I found a way to help clients to resolve this issue. I call my technique as Radianced regression because the name of my school is Radianced. Why I call this Radianced regression? Because not all the regression sessions are the same. We, as regression therapists, has different approaches, different way of body therapy, different reframing techniques. So I have some differences when I see also my colleagues around the world. My focus during regression session is raising awareness in client and give a wider perspective about his or her choices. During regression sessions, I help my clients to understand and to solve the internal dynamics underlying in feeling victimized, and also the reason why they are experiencing this. Many clients who truly want to be liberated from feeling victim, and if they really fully understand, they become free from this and become an active person, and they change their lives in a good way. So, as you know, most of our clients come to us feeling victimized, feeling victim in any area of their life. When I talk about victim mood, we can say that person feel helpless, powerless, victimized, and pathetic regarding a situation. And they think, why this is happening to me? They are pessimistic most of the time. They focus on what they lack. That person may think that they have no control over the things and the world is against them. Such people also feel that they are victim, so they find someone to blame. So if there is some negative thing happening in their life, they mostly find a person to blame. So the most important characteristic of that person is they don't want to take responsibility. They don't want to take responsibility about their own life. So most of the time, they put the blame on their parents and sometimes on the circumstances, or everyone can be a scapegoat for them. Most of the time, they have fear of future. They ask help most of the time, sometimes openly, sometimes in a hidden way, because they feel helpless and powerless to be able to handle many situations. So they ask help. Of course, our clients come to us asking our help to resolve any issues in their life. So when I talk about the characteristic of the client, victim person, they often feel helpless and powerless. most of the time they talk about themselves, but they complain. They complain, but they do nothing to resolve something. They blame anyone, partner, parents, family members, someone from the work, or anyone. They think they don't have any control over the things, and they refuse to take responsibility. They have a fear of future. They feel sorry for themselves, self-pity feelings. They feel helpless, weak, and powerless. They feel worthlessness, like a failure in life. They have low self-esteem, low self-confidence, and they are mostly in depression. Actually, we may all have challenging time and challenging people in our lives. We all have, I think. But people who has victim syndrome do complain most of the time, but they do nothing to change the situation. They just complain. And in years, as much as I come from the clients who are telling about victimized stories to me, I started to look at the deeper layers of the situation. And I see that they avoid responsibility in life, and also they don't love themselves most of the time. And most of the time, they need for help, and they look for a hero, a savior. Most of the time, therapists are the savior position in the therapy circumstances. And they say, please, somebody save me. Or, why this is happening to me? Why isn't my life going the way I want? Or, poor me, look, what happened to me? So these are the most of the time I hear my clients are saying in the intake before the session when they talk about their issues. And my goal in this particular practice is to create the perception and feeling and understanding within the client that they can use their own power in a better and in a safer way. Because we all have inner power. But victim people, they do think that they don't have any power. So I try to tell and also help my clients that they can find their own power and they can use it in a better way. But to reach this goal, we have to make a session, of course. So, but to strengthen a person, to help a person, first we have to find weak areas. Because if we resolve the weak areas, weak part of the client and heal the weak part, then we can strengthen them. Of course, it is the same for us also. And the second thing is, some people is having very intense victim mood and very open, very clear that we can see that person is really feeling victim in every area in their life. But some people feel strong and effective in some areas of their lives, but they may feel victim in just one area. They may feel strong, let's say, in the business, but they may feel victim in partnership. Maybe they have a very good business life. They are very strong and powerful, earn good money, but they don't have any good partner relation. So they may feel weak and victimized in that part. Vice versa. Some people, they have a good relationship, good partner relationship, but they feel victimized in business life. They are unlucky in the business life. They say they are unlucky. So, but some people feel unlucky, powerless, victim all over their life, everywhere. So this is it depends on the person. And I'm going to give some case studies from my clients so you can see the differences, how it differs from people to people. So maybe it will be more clear for me what I'm talking about now. As I said, and also some people is very hidden. They don't see their victim side themselves also. Because they think that they are strong enough. There is just one issue in their life that they have to resolve, that's all. But most of the time, there is a hidden victim feeling in that part. And as we all know, we make choices with our free will in every moment in our lives. But the people who are victimhood, they don't understand this most of the time because they feel victim. They don't think that they have a free will. They have a power to choose anything. So it's not easy for them to accept this, that we have a free will, we can choose the better thing, and because their mind is not working like that. It's like, I don't have any power, I don't have any control on my life. But what I'm saying is, it is possible to change this thinking way. So it is possible to be free from feeling a victim. As I said just previously, first step is the person should realize this and accept, and also they want to change it. They want to free from this feeling. These are crucial points. First, realizing and accepting, and also want to change is this mentality. And as I said, I just found a way to help clients to overcome this issue. And I just help them to understand and resolve and the internal dynamics and feeling victimized and why they are experiencing this in their current life. This is the most important thing. And it is possible really being free from this mood. Actually, I call this work is a free will strengthening exercise, because as much as we are free from feeling victim, we know that we have a free will and we can change our life in a better way. So this is a free will strengthening exercise. Many clients blame their parents during the interview. Blaming others means not taking responsibility. If you blame the others, so you think that you don't have any responsibility in that thing, in this situation. And this is one of the major obstacles to individual development or spiritual development in my thinking. And during the intake, when the clients start to blame their parents, most of the time it's happening in Turkey. And sometimes I ask, but when I ask, we see that the parents are not horrible or are not, I didn't do any horrible things, but they think that must be reason that they have a problem. But most of the cases, it's not the true. Most of the cases, we found that the past life, and when we resolve the past life, it is possible to resolve this victim mood. It is possible to be free from that way, from this feeling. Actually, my finding is the power is hidden in the shadow. Shadow means, maybe you are familiar with this concept, that shadow concept is first Carl Gustav Jung, we know him, and he mentioned about shadow part, and also regression pioneer, our beloved teacher, Roger Wilger, mentioned about shadow past lives. When I joined his workshop in Istanbul, 2006, so many years ago, he mentioned about shadow past lives. And so since then, 2006, I know that resolving shadow past lives is crucial, is very important. But the problem is, most of the people don't want to see their shadow, because shadow means dark past life. We can say dark past life also. In the shadow past life, it's shadow, it's dark, and we do something bad. We harm people. We do very bad things to the people, or we do bad things to ourselves. Committing suicide is a shadow. If you kill yourself in a past life, this is the shadow. If you kill others, this is a shadow. This is a dark, something dark. But I see that shadow past life more wider perspective. Someone who did nothing in a past life, very empty, lazy past life. I think this is a shadow also, because these lazy and empty past lives are affecting negatively also. Shadow past lives, the past life that we did something bad to others, or we did something bad to ourselves. So in this workshop, in this lecture, I want to mention about the shadow past life, the connection between shadow past life and also victim past life. So my finding is to discover two past lives in one session and to resolve them in one session. Of course, more using time management is very important in this session. So I just check shortly the victim past life and shortly have a look at the shadow past life and resolving both of them, and client understand, and we do body therapy and reframing and everything in one session. But finally, the client has a wider perspective about why he or she is feeling victim in their current life. I'm going to give more details soon. The shadow past life, we check the shadow past life because underlying emotions associated with the victim mentality. What happens in a shadow past life? As I said, we do something bad to others, we harm others, or we do harm ourselves. And after that past life, this is end. The past life ends, and then the soul goes to light, spirit realm, or how you verbalized in your belief system. I call it light. And when the soul goes to light, most of the time we confront our mistake. We understand what we did in a past life, how we harm others, how we did bad things. And then soul tries or starts to understand the mistakes, and most of the time they start blaming themselves. So when the person understands, the soul understands the mistake, start to blame oneself, being angry with oneself, feel self-judgment, guilt, shame, even self-hatred. If a very dark past life, if the person did very crucial, very terrible things to others, so the self-hatred, shame, guilt starts more and more. And conclusion, I don't deserve good things. I deserve bad things because I did bad things to others. So I deserve bad things. And then self-sabotaging starts. People who think that they don't deserve good things, they deserve bad things, then they sabotage themselves in the other lifetime. So if persons sabotage themselves, own self, so they make bad things or they let people do bad things to themselves. It is very interesting, and I hope it's going to be more clear when I talk about the case studies. So it may be a better picture for you to understand the connections between shadow past life and victim past lives. Most of the times, shadow past lives come before, and then victim past life comes. Some shadow past lives are very dark, and one person, one soul, lives maybe more than one victim past life after one dark past life. It is interesting because the dark past life is very dark and person feels shame, guilt, self-hatred so much. So then this dark past life, like creating more than one victim past life. I come across this with my clients a lot. They see that in the session, I have so many victim past life because of this dark past life, because I was angry to myself a lot. So if a soul, a person, angry to herself, himself, so they do bad things to themselves, or like commit suicide, or they let people do bad things to them. It's a very interesting dynamic. Yes, what happens in a shadow past life? They abuse their power, they abuse their mind, their energy, then their abilities, sometimes they money. They say they are very wealthy families, they born in a wealthy families, but they just use money for nothing. So this is also abusing. This is also a bad thing. They don't kill anyone in that past life, but they abuse something else. And then they feel guilty, they are angry with themselves, they hate themselves, they judge, and they punish themselves. And I don't deserve good things, I deserve bad things. This sentence, this conclusion creates victim past lives. So after a shadow past life, it's the victim life. They attract others, and they confront the same bad thing they did others. It's very interesting. It's going to be more clear when I talk about case studies. And then they start to get into victim mood, and they start seeing themselves as victim of destiny, and they suffer. Actually, they are their own victims. So they did something bad, and then they start to feel victim, but actually they are saying victim of destiny, but they are own victims. So they enter the victim mood, and they choose to stay there because they don't forgive themselves what they did in a shadow past life, in a dark past life, I can say. So is it possible to get out of this karmic circle? For me, yes, it is possible. But my way of working is to check the shadow past life, resolve this, and then also resolve the victim past life in the same session. Sometimes it's not possible to resolve both past life in a one session, but in another session, you can resolve this. So it is also helpful. And when we resolve both past lives, people starts to understand the connection between these two past lives and also the connection between the current life. In the case studies from my own clients, you will hear from the sessions and where some clients find themselves in the victim mood in one area and others find themselves victimized in many areas in their life. So, but as I said in the beginning, we all have maybe some differences in our way of regression therapy work. Let's say body therapy and reframing, not everyone can do, but I do body therapy. What does it mean? I do also check what the client has as residue from the body from the past life, shadow past life, and also victim past life. So we have to release both residues from past lives, making body therapy work. What is reframing? Maybe probably all familiar with this word. After doing body therapy with my clients, I do ask them what they could do in a better way in past lives. Let's say the client is in a past life, is not killing anyone or is not doing bad things to anyone, so they don't feel shame or guilt, and they don't sabotage themselves. They don't let others do bad things to them because they don't hate themselves. So the client feels and also imagine how they change, how it is possible to make different choices in the past life and how the result is changing. Because we know that when we make a choice, there is a result of it. When we make another choice, there is another result of it. So we all have at least two choices, I think, in life, most of the time, most of the cases. And we choose which one we want, which one we like. So, and then our life is continuing. So I give a chance, new perspective to my clients to think about different way, how they change, how it was possible to change that past life in a better way, how the result was better, and how it helps the client to change the victim life also. As I said, you are going to understand more with the client case studies. A typical example of this is the slave and the slave trader. Slave is a victim, we know, and the slave trader is the perpetrator. So, and most of the time, the victim is female and the perpetrator is a male. But sometimes both are female, sometimes both are male. So, or vice versa. When I talk about the case studies, may seem complicated to you, but I try to explain slowly because especially he, she description may seem complicated because of the English. We call he and she. Maybe in Spanish you have such description. In Turkish, we say only one word for female or male also, but I have to use he and she description. And let's say the client is a female, but in the past life, she is a man. So when I talk about the past life, I will mention he, but the client is female, so I will mention she. I hope it won't be so complicated. Yes, is there any question so far before I start the case studies?
Had been abused is an accidental act, or it's the payment for being a perpetrator in another lifetime.
Yes, most of the time. This is one of the most common thing in my sessions. So maybe in the case studies you will see, if I mean, nearly all of them include such stories. Then I'm going to give you some case studies. And since I don't follow the chat, it's all in Spanish. If there is something, could you please tell me in English that I can immediately answer? Okay, yes. The first client case is a female client, 41-year-old. That was her first session with me. And she was, in the interview, she said that constant tension and anxiety she had. And she wanted to resolve this tension and anxiety problem. She was nervous around her manager, and she has a new job now, but she couldn't express herself to him, to the manager. She has a self-expression problem, which is a very common thing for victim people. Victimized people, mostly they can't express themselves. It's really hard for them to express their feelings because they fear most of the time. She also had a problem, my client had a problem with her ex-husband's mother. She divorced, but ex-husband's mother, when she met, she froze and she couldn't express herself. She couldn't express herself with all authority figures. This is a typical victim person behavior. In the past life, she was a black male slave. This is a typical example. He had been mistreated since childhood, lived always fearful, and anxiety, and he got sick and he died in that past life. This is a typical victim past life. She felt very sorry for herself in that moment. She was self-pitying herself, how poor I was there. And in the spirit realm, in the light, when we are talking about that past life, she remembered another past life, and she was a very wealthy and powerful man, and he was quite cruel. He was a slave trader. So he was humiliating the slaves, saying bad things to them, mistreating them. And he makes giving some orders to make some violence to the slaves. He was unfair. He didn't give the money to them, to the slaves, and he died. You see, the victim past life as a slave, and a shadow past life as a slave trader. And we just checked both past lives very shortly. But when she was in the light again, she can see the connections herself. He understood. She started to understand own mistakes. And she said, I was emotionless, no soul in me, consciousness there. She understands his mistakes in the shadow past life. And she understands the connection between two past lives. She said, these are her words, I want to compensate for what I have done before. That was her own words. And after that shadow past life, as a slave trader, she reincarnated as a slave in next lifetime. And she understood that when we are talking in the light, she understood that she carried the idea that she deserved mistreatment. She deserved bad things. And she understood that she is still feeling the same in her current life as a woman now. Because of the slave trader, that thinking still with her mind. She was thinking that she deserves bad things, she doesn't deserve money also, and because, you know, she didn't give money to slaves also, and she was carrying this negative belief. She doesn't not deserve money, and she has still anxiety and fear, which is coming from slave victim past life, and she has an incapability to express herself to her manager because it's coming from victim past life. So as you see, the woman, my client, as a woman, she was carrying both feelings and from both past life. She has victim feelings, and also she said very interesting thing that these are her words, my client's words, I always say I am strong, but I can't use my power. I have both powerful side and weak side inside of me. These are her words. She understood during our talk that weak side coming from victim past life, powerful side is coming from slave trader, but she was controlling that part. And because most of the time, the client fears from own self. If I use that power in a wrong way again. So she was depressing her own power. because she doesn't want to use her power in a bad way again, like a slave trader. So she was depressing. And then, as I said, we did body work, body therapy for both life. She didn't harm anyone. And after that, she didn't feel guilty. And as a slave, I think she also didn't born as a slave, or she could defend himself. We both change, both past life. And after the session, the next day when I called my clients after the session, she said, I normally cannot sleep well, but last night I slept very well. I'm feeling very well. There is lightness and beautiful emptiness inside me. I always be in a panic rushing state, but today I'm not feeling like that. And I'm not nervous either. I feel like I am fully in my body, down to my feet. These are what she said after the session. But this is a good example because this is a good client, I can say, because she could understand the dynamic, how it is working. And she could see herself, both sides. And so she internalized and she understood completely the technique, the way of my working. So that's why this is a very good technique. But I should say that in my sessions, I always ask my client when they understand their mistake, because we are human and we all do mistakes. We still do have some mistakes in our current life also. But if we understand our mistake, and if we stop saying the same mistake, doing the same mistake, then it's time to forgive ourselves. So in the session, after body therapy and after reframing, my clients meet the past life characters, and then they start to forgive themselves what they have done in the past. So self-forgiveness is a very important key for my sessions and for my way of thinking also. Another case study, a female client again. She is 45 years old. That was her 4th session with me. And she wanted to focus on partner relationship. And she wanted to resolve this. I didn't mention any victim or shadow. No, nothing. I don't mention this in the beginning. She just wanted to focus on partner relationship. And she remembered a past life. She was a boy, and parents died early. And in the past life, the victim mood was very intense. He lived the life alone, feeling helpless, and he got married in that past life, but unhappy marriage. And then he called an insensitive person. And the wife took the children and left him. Again, he's alone. And then he gets older and dies alone. That's all. It seems like he didn't harm anyone, he didn't kill anyone, or but is a typical miserable victim past life. And in the light, in the spirit realm, we talk about this past life, and she remembered a previous past life. She was a man in that past life, a rich and arrogant gambler. He was just having pleasant time, just doing nothing, and he died due to excess weight because he ate a lot. This is a past life. This is a shadow past life. And in the light spirit realm, she said about the shadow past life, she said that, oh, I thought being strong and making a lot of money would make me happy and bring love. But she realized that that was wrong. So in the shadow past life, he abused his body and the wealth because he ate so much weight, and he died because of this. And she realized that she was angry with herself for these mistakes. And then next life, she punished herself. And then he could, she can understand both connections. And because the victim life, unhappy marriage, left by the partner, and the other one, no love, no sensation, no emotions. So we could see the different approaches, but again, both past lives are, there is no good partner relationship. So she realized both, and we changed also both past life, body work, body therapy, and reframing. And at the end of the session, she started to realize that she is not a victim, and in fact, she could have lived her life as she wants. And 2 months after this session, she called me and she said that the victim feeling is completely gone. I now managed to say no to men who are not worthy. I have lost 5 kilos since our session. I couldn't succeed this before, but now I mean, she is better weight now. My relationship with my manager at work is better. We did not work on the money issue, but there is improvement in that area too. After the session, now I can save money. She says that we didn't work on money issue, but actually we did. Because in the shadow past life, he was a rich and gambler man. And in the body work and also reframing part, it changed also, because he was using money badly. But we changed it in the reframing. So it changed in her mind, subconscious mind. So it helped her to current life to save money, because he couldn't do that in the past life. Now she can do. This is very interesting, but maybe you can understand the connection. So this is another case, and I want to give you another good example about this. And a female client, again, in the third session, she's 32 years old, and she wanted to understand the reason of her interest in spiritual studies. She was interested in spiritual things, spiritual activities, spiritual workshop, a lot. And she was questioning also how she could proceed on this path, because she's interested a lot in the spiritual activities, but she doesn't know how to continue. And then actually, she said that she started 3 years ago to join the spiritual things because her sister became ill. So she wanted to help sister. Then she started to join some spiritual activities. In the past life, she was a boy, and he was afraid because he saw his grandfather doing something in a boiler. There was other people, grandfather doing something in the boiler, and the boy think that they were doing some bad things. And grandfather was trying to teach him what he did, but when he was 11 years old, he secretly started making some medicine on his own to help his mother. But his mother went crazy after this medicine, and his grandfather got angry to the boy and stopped teaching him. This is the traumatic event on that past life. Over the years, following years, he became lonely, unhappy, and humiliating other people. And at a young age, he died, drinking some poisonous thing that he prepared himself. Actually, this is a suicide. And in spirit realm, in the light, she got angry with the father who died, because she was saying, because of you, father, you died early and I was lonely. But actually he wasn't lonely, because there was grandfather and mother, and she started to realize that there is he can do something different in that past life. The father's death was planned. His mother will stay mentally healthy, and he didn't believe in medicine. He didn't believe in the grandfather, and also blaming grandfather also. So typical victim mind. She misunderstood almost everything in that past life. So all misunderstanding we talk, and she started to understand. And then we release all negative energies and body work. And then when it's like she realized the connection after the session. The mother, ill mother, was her current life sister. It was like, that was the shadow past life, victim and shadow past life. In the same past life, he was feeling victim, and then doing shadow things, bad things, and feeling victim again. And she carried all feelings, complicated feelings, in her current life, because her sister, current life sister, is the mother in the past life. So he tried to help his ill mother in the past life in a wrong way, but now she's trying to help sister, maybe trying to find a better way, good way to help her. So she understands everything, and after the session, she could understand why she's interested in spiritual activities, and she felt at peace. She said, all my questions have been answered. The next day, when I called her, she said, I'm fine and comfortable. I feel high energy after the session. I feel energetic. It's very interesting. 1 week after, she called me and she said, my work schedule changed. I will earn more money next month. My financial anxiety was high, but I have no longer that mentality. And I bought a gift. Normally, she used to think about money too much, but she said, I'm not thinking that way anymore. And also, she started to save some money after the session also. So that was an interesting bonus, actually, because we didn't do anything with the money for that past life, but it was like a bonus for her, changing the victim mood, victim mentality, help her current life to relationship with the money also. So there is an interesting thing also. And one more interesting example, I hope you will be interesting. That client, again, she remembered 2 past lives, but both of them were shadow, and she was feeling victim in her current life. It's interesting. So her current life is victim, she seemed herself like that. She's 39-year-old female and wanted to resolve the blockage in abundance. That was our second session. And as I said, she remembered 2 past lives. And in both of them, she was a girl. In the first life, she remembered she was an arrogant and very powerful woman in a royal family. Very young and rich and beautiful woman. And in this life, she was underestimating people and treat the employees very badly. And she said she gave more importance to material things, not to human beings. And another past life, she was a daughter of a very wealthy family, again, and she said, I'm carefree, I don't do anything, just a lazy and empty past life. In other words, she misused abundance in both past life. She didn't maybe harm anyone, but she misused the money. And also in the first past life, she treated badly to the employees. And then in the light, in the spirit realm, she started to understand the connections between 2 past lives, the similar energy, and connections with current life. She feels blockage in abundance. But she understood that she's angry with herself after this, both 2 past lives. She get angry herself, and she started to think that I don't deserve money. I don't deserve abundance. Actually, it was like she's afraid from her own power, like doing the same mistake again. That's why she's actually sabotaging money and abundance in her current life, because she was afraid of herself using the abundance and money in a bad way again, like in these 2 past lives. So she's blocking the abundance herself, not anyone else. So she understood this very clearly. We talk about this, and she understood. And after the session, she said 3 weeks later, next day she was good. And then 3 weeks later, she said the most important thing that happened after the session was the happiness that filled me for no reason, and intense love that I feel in those moments for every being. I feel radiant love. I started to feel more love from the people around me also. My energy is rising, and this is an email. She sent me an email. This is very interesting. This is like a bonus thing, is love feeling started herself. And she came to the session 2 months later, and she said, I have my own office now. I do also do business for my friend. And after the session, my eyes were opened. She understood that work partner doing something hiddenly, and then she realized it, and then she confronted, and also it's like a blockage resolved after the session on abundance. It was very interesting for her also. So these are different. I try to choose different type of client case studies that you can understand the dynamic. And another example for you. Yes, this is a long one, but could be maybe the last one. 51-year-old female client, in the interview, she said that she has several professions. She studied 3 or 4 universities, and but she was complaining that even she has 3 or 4 diplomas and profession, she doesn't have enough money. She didn't make money from these professions. There is a blockage. And she has so many knowledge, equipment, diplomas, and everything, but she is not earning such money. So she wanted to understand and resolve this issue. And in the first past life, she was a man. And in the childhood, he was sexually abused by his father. And also the mother died early, and he ran away from home, and then went to a nearby town. And then all past life, he had been abused later in that past life, more, and he died alone and homeless around the age of 35, very young age. And in the spirit realm, in the light, she remembered an older past life. And he was a man again, she was a man again, a wealthy family, son of a wealthy family, and was working as a slave trader. And he collected 10 years old and boys, healthy boys, from different countries, and was taking them to other countries and sell them as slaves. He threw the man, if a slave fell ill, just throw them to the sea and in the ship. And then also he sexually abused some slaves in that past life. And he died around 35, 40 years old. In one of the slaves killed him in that past life. So in the spirit realm, we talk about both past lives, connections between both past lives, and she realized that there are some common person in both past life. The shadow past life, she did some bad things to the people, and some of them was the victim past life, was perpetrator. What she did in a shadow past life, it happened to him, and they just changed the role, and perpetrator become victim. She understood this very clearly. So she apologized from everyone she harmed in the shadow past life, and but mutual forgiveness was achieved. And then we talk about the connections. He abused his power in the shadow past life. He harmed people and earned money in a wrong way, dirty way, we can say, because sell people, children, kids, and earning money was that way. And in the victim life, he lived a life in a misery. And of course, we did body therapy for both past lives, and also negative emotions. He released everything, and we transformed all events. And she understood that the feeling of guilt, self-resentment, self-anger, shame, all of them are coming from the shadow past life, because also he abused abundance, and now she is blocking business life and abundance in her current life. Since she earned money in a wrong way, she believed that she doesn't deserve money. She doesn't deserve abundance anymore. That was her belief, core belief. So, of course, we all clean this. Also, I do also clean negative thinking, negative belief systems also in the session, because this is important as much as negative emotions. And at the end of session, she felt a great sense of release because there was forgiveness for both parties, for both past life. And she said a huge burden had been lifted after the session. And next day she was feeling very good again. And what happened after this session? 1 month after this session, she sent me a message and email. This is what she wrote to me. I just want to let you know that because this is definitely a miraculous result of our session. We had a house where we only stay for a month in the summer house. It is vacant for the rest of the year. And we wanted to rent this house because our children, she is married and she has 3 boys. Our children education, we need money for the education of our children. So we want to rent the house to just help the current life son, children's education. After the session, they rent the house, and also the person gave whole money to them, not monthly, but whole year money. So it is exactly the money that they need to give education for their son. It's very interesting. So all tension was gone and abundance came to the family, and also this abundance will go to the 3 sons of this family. And she was very, very happy about this. And although she said, although we were in the same economic condition, we thankfully bought a house in a brand new building, a penthouse duplex, exactly as I wanted, in the location we wanted, and with an elevator and plenty of light. We've been looking for a house for 3.5 years, as we almost lost hope that we can buy such house, but it's like a miracle we can bought this house. And my husband also admits that it was a result of the session we had with you, because so many things happened after this session, different areas, but especially in the abundance areas. She was very happy about that. It seems like she stopped sabotaging herself in abundance because she understood the reason, and she forgave herself. So I have so many case studies also, but we are about to complete the lecture. And in order to understand and apply this subject, it's necessary to fully understand, I think, the law of attraction. As I said, some people talk that they understand the law of attraction, but really our shadow past lives do something in a hidden way and blocking and self-sabotaging our current life. So it's I always advise to my students also to clean their shadow past life, because always it is helpful to clean shadow past lives. It is helpful for our current life, so we can understand blockages in our current life, and it's possible to resolve this. As I said in the beginning, we all have a free will, so we can change our life in a better way. We can use our power in a better way. And yes, it is possible. And we are all equal. We all did bad things in past life, but now it's time to release and to be free from the past. And if you have any question, I may answer a couple of questions.
Does the victimization go spontaneously 2 lifetimes back?
Sometimes some clients remember spontaneously. Sometimes I ask them, do you understand why you have such miserable such lives to understand the is there any connection with another past life. So but some clients remember spontaneously when they are trying to understand why they have such miserable, such victim past life. And sometimes I ask questions, do you understand or try to understand why you have such past life? Depends on the client. Some of them are open to ask such a question so they can understand.
Do we have always to learn the mistake in the next immediate lifetime?
If I understand correctly the question, let's say if I understand my mistake, what I did yesterday, so I can learn from this mistake, I can do better one. And it's my choice, it's my free will not to repeat the same mistake. So we all have free will, as I said. We can learn our mistake, so we don't have to repeat the same mistake again and again. So this is mostly the karmic circle, doing the same mistake again. But if we understand, if we learn from our mistakes, we can do better, we can live better. This is my thinking. I hope I replied the question.
We come to this life without the memories of our past lifetimes. The question is it not unfair to know about those past lifetimes? It is not cheating and interfere of what we have to work in this life. Cheating in our spiritual progress.
It's a long question, but I'm not sure if I understand correctly the question. But cheating, no, I think the spiritual development is a serious thing. This is my way of thinking. I believe in past lives. I believe in reincarnation since my childhood, as if like I was born with this belief. As a child, I always know that the soul is endless and body can die, but soul is endless. So since my childhood, reincarnation is in my soul. I came this body with remembering also my past life. So I had so many spontaneous memories when I visit other countries before I met regression therapy. So I am a believer in reincarnation, and I know that soul improvement is important for me. So no cheating for me, if I understand the question, I don't know. I hope I answered the question.
Sí, hay una pregunta. Si el cliente accede en diferentes sesiones a vida de víctima.
If in different sessions the same client remember past lifetimes as a perpetrator or as a victim, how do you make the link between them? How you link them?
Normally what I'm talking here is two past lives, if possible in one session. First past life normally is a victim past life, and we just check the previous lifetime, which comes a shadow past life. This is my theory. And if we resolve both past life, shadow past life, and victim past life, client can understand own self. Yes, I did this, and I lived this, like both parts of the coin. And so the client understand what he or she did a bad thing, and then she had the bad things. So she put own self in a victim position. This is the main idea of this approach. The person put own self in the victim position. So when people understand this, the client understand this, they liberate from this feeling of victim. So they know that they have a power to change their current life also. This is happening in my sessions. There is a question in chat in English, so I can read and maybe answer as a last question. How do I know if when I'm in a session, I'm really seeing past lives and it's not a product of my imagination? I had a session. Okay, I think Liliana Castro, the person, I always ask my clients this question to understand that past life is that person, that life, that lifetime. So I just tell them, just enter the body you have in that scene. So if you are in that body, in the boy body or woman body or man body, and if you feel that past life body till your feet, till your shoes, so this is your past life. So being in the past life body is a sign, is a confirmation that was your body. So it's not your imagination. I hope I answered that one also. Yes.
Is it difficult sometimes to reach other lifetimes, past lifetimes?
Yes, some clients has a resistance to enter a past life or to remember a past life, of course. And if there is resistance, this is most of the time the confrontation resistance. People don't want to see their shadow past life. Because in the beginning, as I said, people don't want to confront with their mistake. This is a typical human being reaction. We all it's not easy to see our mistakes or confront or accept our mistakes. If a client has a difficulty to remember a past life, most of the time this is a ego blocking the memory, because the client doesn't want to see, doesn't want to remember a shadow past life or to confront with their own mistake, because it's easy to remember victim past life. It's easy to feel victim. It's easy to blame someone, but it's not easy to see their own mistake. So, of course, some of my clients, it's not easy to remember their past life, but I help them to remember, and maybe there is a tip for you. I just tell them, whatever happened in the past life, please remember, and then we can resolve it. Because if they don't remember, we can't resolve it. This is a very basic thing. And I hope I answered the question.
Muchas gracias. Gracias por estar en el simposio.
I want to thank you all. Yeah, and I want to thank you for joining my lecture, all of you, and I hope you learned something. Thank you very much also for interpreter. Thank you all joining, and bye-bye. Have a good evening to you all.